So again, welcome everyone. We're going to be going over the Windows 11 and new team, some tips and tricks. So again, as I'm going through the training, if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat and we will definitely get to them at the end. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon. So Windows 11 and new Teams has been pushed out to all of your computers. So you noticed, I would assume that you would have noticed a little bit of some changes, especially to the environment. So first and foremost for Windows 11, one of the main environment changes that you'll see is that your taskbar at the bottom is now centered to the center instead of it being left centered, where we were normally used to seeing that. However, good news is you can move that back if you like to. I will show you how to get to that in a little bit. But if you don't like your taskbar centered in the center of your screen, I can show you how to move it back to the left. But that, as far as Windows 11, is one of the big environment changes that you've seen. Obviously, some of the icons and the buttons along the way are a little more streamlined, a little more modern. So we also love to see that as well. As far as the new Teams is concerned, the environment itself really didn't change much. Couple of little things that we see updated along the way that I will continue to go through during this training, but major overhaul of the environment, not really. One thing while I'm in here that I'd like to show you is on the left-hand navigation bar, there's a new app. If you go to the three dots here and search, if you don't see it, it might automatically pop up for you, but if you don't see it, search for the Meet app. I think this is a really great new app that they've added. You can see here that any Teams meetings that you have coming up in your calendar will actually come up across the top here. And any past meetings that you've had, and don't mind this space, I'm in my training account, not my personal account, so there really isn't much content here. But if you check this app out on your account in your Teams desktop application, I'm sure that you would see a bunch of Teams meetings scheduled coming up across the top, and any meetings that you were previously a part of will all be listed down here for you to see as well. If you like this app, I do recommend right-clicking on it and clicking Pin. This will keep that app in your navigation bar on the left-hand side at all times, so it's easy for you to find and get to all the time when you want to access your meeting information. Definitely recommend checking out the Meet app. Next up, we have a new channels experience. So if you go into any one of your teams, what you might notice is now the information for the team is on the left-hand side in this little details pane here. So if you open that up, you're going to see all of the information about the channel or the team that you are in, specifically the channel, because you can't necessarily see anything regarding the team. But if you click along in your channels, and then open up that side details pane, you get to see all of the participants in the channel. You also get to see a description of the channel, and any pinned items as well will be here. The other great thing is you can search in the channel right here. So another great option. I like that they kind of push this off to the side so you can close this out when you don't want it, to be open and in your full view all the time, but it's there in case you need it. The other great feature that they released is the ability to have your posts in your team channels go from the top down instead of the bottom up. So in the three dots on the right-hand side of your team or your channel, if you click that, you now get the ability to change where you see your posts. So if I flip this, my posts now, where it was originally in classic teams or old teams, my posts go from the bottom up, but instead with the new upgrade, we get to flip that. And now our posts go from the top down in date order. And I think that's such a better way to be able to keep up in order than having to scroll from the bottom going up. Now you're just going to see the most recent things right for you up at the top. So again, that lives in the three dots on the right-hand side once you're in a Microsoft team. All right. And I'm going to kind of be bouncing around just to keep you engaged. I'm going to be going from new teams to Windows stuff. So we're going to pop over now into the search bar at the bottom of your Windows computer. I actually think a lot of people don't utilize this feature and this tool as much as you should, because this search bar can search for a multitude of things. It can search for any sort of device settings that you may need. It can search for files. It can search for people. So I really, really encourage you to play around with this search bar at the bottom. I'm going to actually search right now for the ability to move the taskbar icons over. So I'm going to go to device settings, or actually taskbar settings. So I can start typing into the search bar taskbar settings, or just task, even just the first couple of words. And you can see right here that I have the taskbar settings pop up right here. But just before I click into that, I just want you to look around this area for a second and see how many different search filters or features come up once I start typing into this search bar. It's going to search for best matches, apps, settings. It even searches the web and NASA BOCES results, meaning anything that you have in your OneDrive or on your computer. So again, you can really drill down across the top, but the search bar is very, very strong. Definitely highly recommend. So right now I'm going to go to taskbar settings. And then, as I promised, I want to show you that if you go down to taskbar behaviors here, it gives you the option right here to move the alignment of the taskbar. So again, it defaults to center because that's the new Windows 11 upgrade, but you can move it back to the left if you choose to do so right here. All right, next up, you may have noticed this little Copilot icon, which is super exciting. This is Microsoft's AI. You can see that it's still in preview. So we will start to put out a lot of information through Seed Academy and my What the Tech series, all about Copilot and AI in general. But we're still building and still learning ourselves. So in the meantime, this is kind of your play time, and this is your play area. So if you click that icon, you're going to see on the left, on the right-hand side, it's going to pop up for you. And this is your AI. What we love about this Copilot is that if you see up here, it gives us this green shield that says that we're protected and that our personal and company data are protected. And this is why Copilot embedded in our Microsoft domain. So meaning that when you're logged into NASA BOCES, your NASA BOCES account, the Copilot that's embedded here gives us the opportunity to protect our data and all of our information. So that's a really important feature, and you want to make sure that you always see that protected symbol here. And here you can choose.
Just a note that please make sure, even though it's protected, we still do not put PII and other sensitive data into Copilot.
Yes. Thank you. Of course, absolutely. And Copilot gives you some different options here as far as how you want the answers to be produced for you. So play around with the conversation style, play around with the AI here for now, but I promise you more to come from us, from the Seed Academy and What the Tech on this. I just wanted you to realize that at this point it is available at the bottom of your taskbar, and it is currently in preview mode. You may also notice it in the Edge browser on the right-hand side as well. So definitely start to play around, come up with some good questions. You see it's also here embedded in the search bar as well here. So it's definitely going to be everywhere if you didn't think so already. And again, we will definitely put out some more information about that. Okay, next up is this little taskbar desktop view option. This is a great feature for you to be able to kind of display different desktops at once. So what's nice is you can even name them now. So if I click on where it says desktop 1, it allows me to change the name of that. So you can set up different desktop modes by just clicking on this little taskbar here. The other thing you can do when you click on it is it gives you the ability to see all of the windows that you have open and be able to easily and quickly click into those windows. Sometimes you have 750 windows open and you can't find the exact one that you're looking for. But if you click on this little desktop view or task view icon, all of your windows will pop up and then you can easily find what you're looking for. All right, let's go back into new teams for a second. Next up is something that was kind of just released in new teams. It gives you the ability, if you are in chat, so let me click on the chat icon. So in chat, if you click the 3 dots, you now have the ability to forward a chat message. We always had the ability here to reply directly to a chat message by clicking on this here, where it pulls up the message and you can reply directly to it. But what's really nice is now in the 3 dots, next to any message in Teams chat, you now have the ability to forward a message. So I could take this message and forward it to a one-on-one or group chat. And it pulls, who posted that message originally, the date and the time. So it keeps, transparency and all of that other stuff. But it's really nice instead of having to copy and paste per se. And then it gives you the ability to type an additional message up here. All right. And as we continue to move on, I'm going to also show you that in new teams, you will notice that the files icon has now changed to OneDrive, which thank goodness, because even when you clicked on the files icon in Teams, it still gave you all of your files in that area. So I'm not sure why they didn't just name it OneDrive from the beginning, but they finally upgraded that. So now when I click on the OneDrive icon, it looks just like the web version of OneDrive with a nice home page. You can flip into your files. You can do a lot of filtering for files that you may be looking for. And if you've seen any of my previous What the Tech tips or came to any of the previous webinars, you would notice that this browse files by option, people or meetings, this is a new feature and it's actually really great. I don't want to drill down into it too much, but it gives you the ability to filter out your files by people or meetings. And now you have that ability to do that all within just by clicking on your OneDrive app in new teams. Again, this home view is a really nice overview of all of the things and that you have all of your files, and the most recent will always come up first. So definitely check that out. Okay, back to Windows 11. So I really like this feature. It's called the voice typing launcher. So if you click the 2 keys on your keyboard, with the first one being the Windows symbol and then letter H, it pulls up this option to have what's called a voice texting or voice typing, sorry, not texting, voice typing option. And you can choose to have this voice typing icon stay on your screen at all times. So if I just toggle that on, and I also want to toggle on automatic punctuation, this little box, let's see if I go into, did it come up for me? Things like, sometimes things like to not work when I'm in the middle of showing you about them. Happens all the time. So just try that one more time. Oh, look at that. It did not stay on. Okay. Let's see more time. All righty. Well, I do not want to waste too much time on one thing, but I want you to try this out because this little icon will, and it actually is much smaller, but it will stay on your screen at all times. So anytime you have a box or any sort of window open that will allow a text feature, you can voice type into it as opposed to having to use your keyboard to type. So if you just click the microphone and speak, it'll type the text for you automatically. So it's just a nice little great thing to have open. It's a time saver, and I definitely recommend you trying it out. So again, it's Windows H on your keyboard to get that open. Okay, this is something that isn't necessarily new to Windows 11, but I like to just mention it because I think a lot of people don't realize that you can do this. The taskbar at the bottom of your computer, you do have the ability to pin, unpin, and reorder the icons along the bottom of the screen here in your taskbar. So if you, number one, just right click on any icon, you have the ability to pin or unpin that application to your taskbar. So you don't always have to keep looking for the things that you have open all the time. Microsoft or Windows will default a lot of these applications and icons here. For example, sometimes just the default will have the Microsoft Store. It looks like a little shopping bag. You don't need that. It's not something that you're going to use. So I recommend right-clicking on that icon and unpinning that from your taskbar. And then pinning all of the things that you use on a day-to-day basis. So it's just super easy for you to open when you come in every morning to set up your workday. And the other thing you can do is just click and drag, and you can reorder the icons and put them in the order that works best for you. I like to order mine from right to left so that when I get started with my day, I just can click, 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 click along the way from right to left to open up the applications that I need open to start my day. Definitely recommend that. All right, back to new teams. Keeping you all on your toes here. Okay, in new teams, you now have the ability to archive a channel. So we did always have the ability to archive an entire team. Now they released the feature that will allow you to archive a specific channel. So if you click the three dots next to any channel in any team, you now have that ability to archive that channel. Only owners or admins will have the ability to archive the channel itself, and no messages or posts will be able to go back and forth with that when you archive the channel. It kind of just allows it to stay in the background, almost like when you archive a team, so that you can always access those resources and the information that may be in that channel, but it doesn't need to be a main focus or out in the team itself. So archiving a channel, new feature. I'm also going to do a What the Tech update or What the Tech tip for next week on this feature. So you guys got a little sneak peek of that. But it's another new feature that came out with new teams. So I definitely wanted to give you a heads up about that. So as I talked to you before about being able to pin, unpin, and reorder the icons in the taskbar here at the bottom of your computer, you also have the ability to do that in Teams. Again, if you just right-click on any icon and then pin or unpin just by clicking that option, you have the ability to organize that taskbar the way that you like. So for example, if you are not an instructional staff member with a classroom, a Teams classroom, you don't need this assignment icon, right? Because this is something that really just teachers would benefit from, or students. But if you're not in that role, having this icon here just takes up space. So I would recommend right-clicking and unpinning that icon. It removes it from the taskbar here. You can always search and find it again if you need it by either clicking the three dots or this apps plus button here. But again, you don't need it, so might as well unpin it and then pin some things that you maybe will need and use more often. So the same thing that you can do with your computer, you can also do in Teams. You can also click, hold, and drag to reorder the icons in the order that works best for you as well. One thing I do want to show you quickly, and again, another little sneak peek and just ability for me to kind of plug, right? Because I love plugging, but I'm sure a lot of you have seen the Seed Academy Hub icon pop up on your Teams taskbar here. Now, majority of you, when you click it, it will say you do not have access to this right now because we are not ready to launch, but just, just to get you excited, we are launching in hopefully mid-July, early August. But for now, we're building on the back end. So we just had this icon pinned here for you. But just to give you a quick sneak peek, this is going to be your Seed Academy PD hub. And this is what it looks like. Don't tell anybody I showed you. So, okay, moving on. In Teams, you now have the ability, and let me see if I could pull it up here. If you go to the camera icon and whatever you're choosing as your background, normally there was something called the standard blur to blur your background. Now they've launched something called the portrait blur. So it still blurs your background, but in a more portrait-like way. Just another option. So I just wanted to point that out for you as well. You also do have the ability to, I don't know if I can actually, yes, I can. You have the ability in new Teams to also go and create different types of meetings. Webinars, which is the one you're in today, a town hall, a lecture, a live event. These are all different types of meeting templates that are available in new Teams. So I always make the webinar that you're currently on right now by using this webinar template here. It just gives you some more features and functions than just scheduling a regular Teams meeting. All right, 2 more things, and then we are going to open up to questions, comments, feedback, all that juicy stuff. All right, yes, I will get to the question in the chat. Cliff has left his station and joined me over here. So, okay, new planner. If you use To-Do or Tasks or Microsoft Planner, you would have seen that icon in new Teams as Microsoft To-Do, I believe it was called. Now they're changing it over to Planner. And if you click on it, it's going to look like the normal To-Do screen, but in the coming months, it's going to start to switch over to a Microsoft Planner, more streamlined dashboard. And it's going to connect, if you do use Tasks or To-Do or Planner, it's going to connect them all into one space, which thank you, Microsoft, because they love to create different places for us to do the same things. But I do see that they are trying to kind of put everything that makes sense together. So keep an eye out for Planner in new Teams. And I'm going to end with, finally, the new File Explorer experience in Windows 11. So if you click File Explorer in Windows 11, you have a couple of new things here that you can experience and check out. First of all, you will notice that you can open different tabs now, just like a browser window. So you can toggle between different options within your File Explorer just by opening a new tab up here. And if you have multiple desktops, you could take this tab and drag this one to one screen and have one opened on another screen if you need to move things around. So it's just a great upgrade for us. The other is this home area, right? This home area is going to pull up the most recent files across the top, or recommended files, they call it. If you have anything favorited across your entire OneDrive, SharePoint, anything area, file area, your favorites will all come up here, and all of your recent files and anything you have open will also show up right here in this home area. So it's just kind of an overview dashboard kind of initial area or environment to see when you open up File Explorer, which we didn't have before. You also have the gallery option. This is great because any pictures or screenshots or anything that you snip will all live here for you. And it goes back, you can search back through all of the years and months and see all of your snapshots, screenshots, pictures, any sort of picture type file that you have across your Nasobosi's account, you will find in this gallery. So this is a big one. I love this one. You also have the search feature. Don't underestimate these search bars in all Microsoft products. They really give you an easy way to find the things that you need to find. So if I'm clicked on my OneDrive, I can search my whole OneDrive by just typing something up here in the search bar where it says search OneDrive Nasobosi's, right? But if I want to search this PC, if I click that and now I go to the search bar, it's going to search the PC. You can even do that by going into a specific folder in your OneDrive and then searching that folder. So Again, these are great features, time savers, which is my goal, to always show you the things that can help you be a time saver for you. Also, you can start a new file now by just clicking on this new icon here on the top left, and you can start anything new right here by clicking that new button. You can also right click in any of the white space and also create a new file right from here. You don't necessarily have to go to that application to start a new file. For example, if you need to start a new Word document, you don't have to open up Word, right? You can just right click in your file explorer in the specific folder or area you want that file created, and go to new, and then just choose Word, and a new Word doc will pop up for you, and it'll automatically be saved in the right place. So that's really good. And like I said, the last thing is just this right click option. If you right click anywhere, you also have the ability to change the view. You can sort, you can group. We talked about starting a new file. It just gives you, all these different options that you may not realize are there within your file explorer if you do a right click. Okay, I think I spoke enough. I am going to come back to you all. I am going to stop sharing my screen. Give me 1 second to give you the ability to unmute and share your faces if you would like to. Give me 1 second. Save. Okay. Great. So you should have the ability now to unmute or open up your camera if you choose to do so. I'm going to check that chat question. Okay, what's the difference between the channels tab and a group message in Team? Caitlin, what's the difference between the channels tab and a group message? Can you be a little bit more specific, Caitlin, when you say the channels tab? So let me just share my screen one more time, because I just want to make sure I'm clear on what you were asking. So if you are in a team and the channels tab would be up here, right? So the difference between, let me just go back. Sorry, guys, I have to toggle between the screens because we only have one screen down here. Difference between the channels tab and a group message in Teams. So did you mean like the post area, or if you create a chat? I just want to make sure I'm clear on your creating a chat. Well, in Teams, the tabs area is more of like a resource. If you add a tab up here, you can connect a whole bunch of different things that the team or the channel may need quick and easy access to. So you can add a PDF, you can add a website link, you can add a Word doc, an Excel doc. I mean, you can even add YouTube. Again, there are a ton of different things that you can add as a tab for all the channel users to have easy, quick access to up at the top of that channel. Versus, and I just want to make sure, creating a chat is more informal. It doesn't really hold on to the features and functions that you would want. So yes, you can add a tab up here as well, but it's not really as formal, if that makes sense. When you're in a team, everything is more succinct. The team has the options to do all that. It depends on your situation, which would make you choose one or the other, if that makes sense. I think if it's going to be more of like a project or a file storage type thing, you want to create a team and have everything live in that team, including your tabs across the top. If it's really just going to be an informal chat where you want resources and that's pretty much it, then create a group chat. I hope that answered your question. Again, in Teams, when you go to the files area, it's way more organized. You can do a lot more here than if you go to the chat and then you go here to files. It's really only going to show you a list of every file that was ever shared in the shared in the chat, I'm sorry, as opposed to you having all those other abilities that you would have in creating a team with a channel. Hope that answered your question. Okay, good. But if you want to kind of go through more, just let me know. We could do that offline together. Jonathan said, how will creating teams for staffs work next year? I'm pretty sure, Jonathan, that we're going to do the same process that we did this year. It's the last that I've heard so far. Thanks, Brittany. And good luck with state reporting. I'm pretty sure that, am I still sharing? Because that's definitely annoying to see that. There we go. I'm pretty sure that we will do the same process, Jonathan, that we did this year. I haven't heard anything different, whereas it'll be opened for you all to create your teams for a certain window of time, and then it will close out. And that would be more for like the beginning of the school year. I think this year we did it from August to, I want to say October, I believe was the window. Don't quote me, because that was a long time ago in my brain, but I think that's how long, I think that's what it was. I don't know if the IT team at this point has made a different procedure. I haven't heard anything yet, but when and if I do hear anything, of course, I will definitely let you guys know when I know. How to access a background choice, portrait or blurred. So let's see, share my screen. So Patricia, if you in a team, right, in a Teams meeting, where it says camera, that little drop down is where you're going to find your background options here. So no background. If I click on standard blur, it would change it over to just blurring my background. If I click that little drop down, it'll give me the option for portrait blur. And then you always have the option to upload your own background like I have now. Other people have the Nassau BOCES background. If you go into more video effects and settings, you can upload a background in that option. And you could pre-do that before you join a meeting. You don't have to do it while you're in the meeting, doing the same exact thing, just going into settings before you click join. You're welcome. Oh, Laura said bye. Okay. Anybody else? I think I handled all the questions in the chat. Does anybody else have any other questions that they want to get off their chest? Anything about new Teams or Windows 11 or any of the tips or tricks that I showed? Also, again, I'm always going to keep reminding and you're welcome, Lori. I'm always going to keep reminding and playing about when new Outlook, just as a reminder, no matter what, even if you are adamant about how much you hate it, it's coming. We don't have a choice. This is a Microsoft upgrade that's coming. So I always going to continue to remind, you're welcome, Barbara. I'm always going to continue to remind you to please turn on the new Outlook and play around in that area. It's the only way that you're going to feel comfortable. It's the only way that it'll give you a great amount of time to be able to reach out to people like me to say, hey, I find this feature that I am used to using in classic Outlook, right? So now is our time to play and kind of iron out those kinks. So please, and encourage your colleagues, anyone else around you to just try to turn on new Outlook. What I do actually is I have new Outlook and classic Outlook both pinned on the bottom of my taskbar, so I can easily go in and out of them without having to toggle on. So yay, I'm glad to hear that, Kim. Definitely when you do the initial toggle in classic Outlook and new Outlook opens, go to your taskbar and right click on the new Outlook icon and click pin. Then you have both of the Outlook icons at the bottom. Both of the applications will be on your taskbar, and you can open up both of them at the same time if you really wanted to. So again, it's a really, I know it's kind of a ripping off the Band-Aid type moment for a lot of people who are very, very comfortable using classic Outlook. But again, this is a Microsoft thing, and we do have to get comfortable with the new one that's coming out. If you're comfortable with using the web version of Microsoft Outlook, then new Outlook will feel like no different, and you will be totally fine. But again, definitely recommend getting used to that. And I will continue to do webinars about it and send out with the tech series updates and tips and tricks and all that stuff about new Outlook as well. And as anything comes along with Teams or Windows 11 new little things that come out, I will also send those out as I see them useful. You're welcome, Joanne. But again, I am here. I know we ran over a little. It's 1:06. I will hang here. Otherwise, thank you all so much for joining. Please continue to spread the word about the monthly webinars to everyone and anyone. We're showing some great increase in attendees and the amount of people that are showing up to these. So thank you for helping to spread the word on that. And if nothing else, like, have a great afternoon. But again, I will hang here until everyone logs off, just in case somebody has another question. Have a great day, everyone.